guys, and welcome back. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed in the last video or not, because I've learned that unless you're focusing on something, you tend to not notice it. But right before I started filming my previous video, I started breaking out in hives really bad, and you can tell that they were on my neck, or they're starting on my neck. It brought back a lot of feelings that I was hoping I would not feel again, because for a while they've kind of more or less been under control, and it was kind of just a really disappointing kind of moment. For those of you that may or may not be interested, this isn't a makeup related video. This is actually a video that I've wanted to do for a long time, but never really had the courage to come out and talk about it. And I know for some people it probably doesn't sound like much, but 4 years ago I was diagnosed with chronic hives. But of course at the time they didn't really know what it was. When we went to go visit my parents that year, we were on a flight, and halfway through that flight I was like, man, why am I so itchy? Like, am I wearing something itchy that, maybe it doesn't agree with me. I don't know. But by the time we got off the flight and we got to my parents' house, my hands were covered in hives, and they had started to come down my arms a bit. It had never happened to me before, but it had happened to my mom, just randomly, out of the blue. So, I tried not to worry about it. Thought, okay, well, it's going to be like my mom, where it just kind of hangs around, then it goes away, and we'll be fine. We visited them for about a week, and off and on that whole week, I was breaking out in hives, just like random stuff. I put on a sunscreen, and my whole face broke out in hives. That was the worst. I wore something that I hadn't worn before, some kind of material, and broke out in hives everywhere that it was touching me. I didn't know what was causing it, but I thought, okay, it's just got to be something here that's not agreeing with me. When we get back, it'll be cool. And it still wasn't. I went to multiple doctors. My primary care physician couldn't figure out what was wrong. I went to a couple different allergists. They didn't know what was wrong. And finally, the last one, they ran a whole bunch of tests, and they were like, we're kind of at the point where we think you just have chronic hives. And I said, oh my God, what is that? Chronic hives basically means it's something that you're going to have to live with, and it can literally be triggered by anything. So I figured out some of the triggers, things that really, really bother me. So caffeine, tomatoes, some citrus, chocolate, stuff that's really delicious, honestly. Like a lot of foods. It's what's bothering me. Wool bothers me. Any kind of like natural fabric really bothers me. Even cotton bothers me. It's so awful. But it was so bad for so long that they had put me on so many different kinds of steroids, try to calm my immune system down and try to remind it, hey, this isn't the right response to this. What are you doing? And then when that didn't work, they put me on this cocktail of medication to try and see, if maybe this combination would work better than the steroid did. These are all of the medications that I would take. Most of these were 2 or 3 times a day. And I actually saved these. I haven't taken these in probably about 1.5 years, 2 years. But I saved these so when I look in the medicine cabinet and I'm feeling depressed and just kind of sad and about the situation that I'm in when the hives come back, I try to keep these to remember it's going to get better, and it's never as bad as you think it is. Unfortunately, the reason why I'm actually sitting here talking to you guys about this is because, yes, I was on a million different kinds of steroids. I was on this cocktail of medication, and nothing worked. There was nothing that made me feel 100% better. I don't know, there's just nothing out there for it. And the side effect of all this different medication, so think about how many steroids I was taking, and this this cocktail of medication, which basically was supposed to act like a steroid without being a steroid, I ended up just in a really, really bad place. I was trying out different treatments for this for at least over a year. Probably a year and a half. And over that year and a half range, I think that was like the lowest point that I've ever been in my life. I had people who supported me, my family supported me, my boyfriend supported me, which is Caleb now. I married him, so he's my husband now. But, you know, no matter how much support I had, there was just something that, it just makes you, it like eats away inside of you because you know something is still wrong. And on top of taking all of this medication, it was causing me to gain weight much more rapidly than, you know, you would otherwise. So over the course of about that year and a half, I think I gained probably like 15 pounds, 20 pounds, I don't know, somewhere in that range. And that's why I'm saying that this was like the lowest point I think I've ever been at, because when you get to the point where you're trying to get ready for work and things just don't fit anymore, your pants don't fit, your tops don't fit, a lot of the weight that I initially gained all went to my chest. And that's something that was brand new to me, because for the longest time I had absolutely no chest and I was totally okay with it. That didn't last long. And when tops started to not fit and they would gap at the buttons, I couldn't wear a cami under it because it was too tight. Things ended up being too short, and I was so self-conscious about every little thing that I wore. I never wanted to be in a bathing suit. God forbid I had to do something that required me to be in a bathing suit. It was like, I'm not gonna cry, because I feel like I'm at the point now where it doesn't make me feel that way anymore, but talking about it, you still feel like that little pit that you originally felt like inside of you, where you just, all of those like negative feelings just gather into this ball and just grow, and oh, it feels so awful. I think I've mentioned this in a video before, but this is how I actually got into doing makeup. I noticed one day I had hives so bad everywhere, but they weren't on my face. And I noticed that if I had makeup on, no matter how bad my hives got, they never affected my face. So I started wearing a little bit of makeup, you know, a little more, and I thought, well, if I'm wearing it, why not at least make it look good? So I started doing a little more, a little more, a little more, and finally I got to the point where I was like, wow, I never thought that I would be able to do something like this and have it actually turn out, you know, successful. It was just so surprising to me. And that's kind of when I started realizing that life goes on, and just because there are some things that are going to get you down in life and obviously don't go the way you want, one, you could be going through a lot worse. So try to keep that in perspective. And two, there's still things that are going to make you happy. But I found out that makeup truly made me happy, not because I was covering anything, but because I was actually getting good at something that I truly, you know, wholeheartedly enjoyed. When I started this channel, I was still kind of at that point where I was really self-conscious. I was getting better because my hives have been more or less under control for about the past year or so. They're making a comeback. I don't know why. We'll figure it out. But I still haven't really gotten over that hump. Like, everyone's going to look at me when I'm on YouTube. They're going to be like, you know, she's so fat. She's a whale. She doesn't even do this well. Why is she trying to make this channel? And all I want is, I don't need to be super successful at this. I really don't. This is just what is so fun for me, and it's something that is like wholly my own. So kind of rewinding a bit, everything that I've talked about didn't actually solve the problem of, well, now all of my clothes don't fit, and going up a size doesn't really help because now if it fits my chest, it doesn't fit everywhere else, and if it fits everywhere else, well, it clearly will not fit my chest, you know. If you have a bigger chest, you know, in proportion, in relation to the rest of your body, you start to realize that most retailers' clothes are not cut for you. They're cut for a very average framed woman, girl, teen, whatever. And they don't really take into account that not everybody has a small chest. Just fact. So maybe about a month or so ago, I was so stoked, and I know you've heard me talk about this before, because Hot Topic came out with an Outlander collection, and I am obsessed with Outlander. So I had to have it. I missed the first collection because I'm a doofus and didn't pay attention, but I knew I was catching this one. The problem is their collection is all listed in junior sizes, and from personal experience, they're not cut for people who have a larger chest. But I noticed that Torrid had the same Outlander collection, well, similar pieces, and I was like, man, I'm not plus size. Torrid is, by and large, for plus size women, which is totally fine. But I knew that that wasn't me, you know? But I kept looking at it like, man, they have this collection there too. I mean, maybe I can stock both pages and I can try to get what I want. And if I need to, get it tailored down, and voila, I have the whole collection. I went over to Torrid, and to my surprise, they actually offer a size, and this isn't tops, that is a 00. So it's plus size 00, which is basically the equivalent of a medium in straight sizes. So when I saw that, it was like 3 million light bulbs went off in my head. It's like, well, I wonder if I got the medium equivalent, would that fit, you know, the girls and everything? So I gave it a shot. And lo and behold, it does fit. So if you, this is totally like off tangent, kind of, but I wanted to talk about it because this made me feel so good. Like, there are actually clothes that are made for me with, like, I still have a small frame, but I have a larger chest. And I'm actually wearing a 00 right now. This is the Outlander top, and I have the Outlander necklace because I'm extra. But I actually felt like these were made for me. And I wanted to come out and also say that because I was really ashamed for a long time of how I looked when I was having a breakout of hives. And lately, I've kind of felt ashamed because there's just this stigma of, like, plus size. I don't know why. Some of these plus size women are some of the bravest, strongest, most beautiful women I have ever met and I have ever seen. But I was still, like, very reserved about it because people are going to be like, why is she shopping at a plus size store? She doesn't need to be in there. You know, she's like hijacking this. No. I just wanted to put that out there because aside from my chest, everywhere else, I am a, like, 100% true size medium. And I know that there are women, that there are girls, there's probably even men out there that have this problem where clothes just don't ever feel like they're made for you. And I finally found something that actually fits me the way it's supposed to fit, and it fits my chest. It took me a long time, but I finally was able to dig myself out of that hole that I had made, basically. And what really got me through that was, the people in my life, but that I found something that I was so passionate about and that I loved so much. I know I am not amazing at what I do yet, but I really wanted to make this video just as a thank you to all of you that are watching this, that will watch this, that have subscribed. Just thanks. This has been something that's really, I felt like has kind of saved me in a way. And that's also kind of why I brought up the whole clothing thing, because I kind of felt like I had solved one problem but not the other. So, the hives were kind of under control and I was finally in a really good place, but I was still so uncomfortable in my own skin because I just felt like, stuff wasn't made for me anymore. I didn't have a small chest. Everything that I thought was really cute really wasn't on me. And even though, like I said again, I'm not a plus size person, but I feel like I truly understand now, for places like Torrid that make clothes that make me feel that beautiful and just so comfortable and like confident in my own skin. Imagine what you're doing for all of these other women out there. If every woman that shopped at that store feels the way that I do about it, like that's just the biggest win. Everybody deserves to feel beautiful. So, TDLR, long story short, do I still have chronic hives? Yeah, unfortunately. But there's a lot of other things that could be wrong in my life, and they're not. So while I'm not thankful for them, really, but I'm grateful for what they've kind of taught me, and they keep things in perspective. It's a growing process, it's a learning process. The more I go through it, the more I learn what is bothering me. What bothers me, if it's a fabric, if it's a food, if it's just something that I touched or, came into contact with. The more I learn, the more I can keep it under control, basically. So, it will be a constant learning experience, but, thank you guys again. I thank you guys at the end of every single video, but I want you to know that when I say thank you like that, I truly, truly mean it. You guys are literally what brings joy to my life every day. Sitting in front of a camera and filming for you brings me so much joy, and editing and just, seeing your comments, whether it's constructive, whether, you love it or you hate it, I really don't care. So thank you guys again, truly, from the bottom of my heart, for watching, for listening, for subscribing, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.